Coming up on today's episode, Walmart buys Vudu. Apple, are they really doing an HD TV? Is your plasma TV turning gray? And just exactly how did Heron get all those DVDs and Blu-rays on his hard drive for easy viewing? And of course, we got the Blu-ray releases for the week of March 2nd, 2010. This is HD Nation. Today's episode is brought to you by Gamefly, Netflix, and GoDaddy.com.
Welcome to HD Nation. I'm Robert Heron.
And I'm Patrick Norton. HD Nation is your guide to the best in HD content and the best in home theater gear, no matter what your budget is. Blu-ray, online, satellite, cable, over the air. If it isn't HD, we like it. And how about that Shaun White crushing it?
Awesome.
Didn't even need, it basically could have just slid down the slope, had the gold, threw that. Let's just roll that again. I didn't get to catch it live, but I did get to stream it over the internet later on. That was just epic.
Playing through the pain, baby.
Oh my goodness. I gotta ask, what are you watching? More biathlon, hockey finals, the crazed battle between Great Britain and Sweden to see who faces the unbeaten Kevin Martin and Team Canada, who are crushing skulls, or at least were earlier this week in the curling finals.
I already moved on to NASCAR.
Really?
Season's already began. I'm back.
You're not even watching USA Hockey?
No, I did, but I did catch women's curling, the Russian team. I was in a room, I had a few of my buddies over. We unanimously agreed that is the hottest sports team ever.
Really?
Ever.
Hotter than the biathletes.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Is curling really a sport?
Yes. If golf is a sport, curling is a sport.
I think bowling would be a better sport than curling. You can manipulate the damn thing as it goes down the ice.
You have a team, unlike bowling.
You do. That's true. Well, could I have people on the lane then
is NASCAR a sport?
Hitting the ball? Yeah.
I'm driving around, turning left.
Motorsports.
Yeah. I also got to say, before any more email gets sent, I would like to apologize for calling Verizon's most excellent high-speed broadband delivery service Fios. Many of you have written in to inform me that it is called Fios, as in Wi-Fi. Fios. Or was it the other way around?
Nope. Stick it right there.
Fios.
Stick it like Shaun White.
An interesting note. Speaking of sticking it, it's kind of crazy. Out of nowhere, Vudu, probably the best looking service that streams movies over the internet. We're talking 1080p streaming with 5.1. It is gorgeous if you have a fast enough internet connection. Basically, they're running into TVs and Blu-ray players now. They have been purchased by Walmart, of all places. A lot of folks have emailed and tweeted about it, basically asking us what we think. I see like Vudu having investment and distribution. I see Walmart pushing to get it into more Blu-ray players and set-top.
Yeah.
I should say HDTVs. They kind of moved away from set-top boxes.
And Walmart's known for providing products and services at the lowest price possible, so I would expect Vudu to maintain and be one of the most affordable ways to stream that kind of high-quality content in your living room. I hope they just continue to expand the service and make it not only keep it affordable, but expand what you can offer through it. Keep the price down too. That's really the big deal.
Yeah, we're talking about 2,000 HD titles. Vudu looks gorgeous. I'm hoping Walmart can, because Walmart's already kind of walked away from the Netflix, Amazon on demand battle once. So hopefully,
they took one of the best services around and purchased it. And I am hoping for good things. And I have to say, in other unexpected news, Apple COO Tim Cook promised that Apple's not planning any Apple HD TVs, or for that matter, putting an Apple TV into an HD TV. But he did tell reporters that Apple will be sticking with the Apple TV despite the poor sales, and they're basically calling it a hobby product for the company.
We're sticking with the Apple TV as the theory is that the set-top box market, the video distribution market, is an uncongealed mass, and I guess they're hoping that mass will congeal around the Apple TV.
Yeah. Wait for that Apple TV HD.
Speaking of greasy and congealing, our home state of California is looking to force Amazon.com to collect sales tax from California residents.
No!
In case you're living under a rock, you know the Golden State is short on cash like almost every other state in the union. Now, there's a 1992 Supreme Court ruling that said only retail outlets with a presence in the state can be forced to collect tax from that state's residents. Now, the interesting thing is California claims Amazon affiliates that live in California deliver the necessary nexus, that's Supreme Court for a physical presence, to allow California to demand that Amazon.com collect sales taxes. Now, we should point out, if you are a resident of California, there is a nice little line in the state tax form where you're supposed to declare, basically pay your sales taxes on everything you buy outside of the state of California, which I'm sure each and every one of you are sure to do every year.
Now, I have bought products through Amazon through some of their partner resellers that are located within the state, and I am charged sales tax. But when I buy from Amazon directly and it's being shipped in from out of state, no tax. And I've really.
They have no nexus. The Supreme Court decided no nexus, no collecting of state taxes.
I've come to love that one thing about Amazon in particular.
8 1/4, baby.
Free shipping. 8 1/4 where you live. It's 10% where I'm at in the boonies. It's nuts.
On the other side of the bay is now the boonies?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Well, my local county decided we need a little extra 1/4% here and another 1% here. Oh,
As the cat said, meouch.
Yeah.
By the way, you can pretty much expect this one to go to the Supreme Court, and you can probably expect your home state to watch this one closely and follow quickly if California is successful in getting Amazon.com. And I would presume other websites, Amazon.com just being a very big target.
Totally.
Yeah.
And SlashGear, they had a leaked spreadsheet revealing, well, details of LG's upcoming HD TV range, with models announced at CES coming in March and April, with the new 3D LX 9500 coming in the middle of May. Which brings us to some stunning news from Fox. They're not bringing a 3D version of Avatar out anytime this year, I believe.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Our buddy over at High Def Disc News, Justin Sluss, he's been following this pretty closely. He actually called up, talked to Fox reps after Fox told the Wall Street Journal that they would not be delivering a Blu-ray 3D version of Avatar in November. Literally around the same time, the Fox rep said this. You read this one, it's too beautiful.
He said 3D is in the conceptual stage and that Avatar will not be out in 3D Blu-ray in November.
So that's Fox.
Okay.
Meanwhile, James Cameron, the director, the guy from the movie with the Titanic and the freezing and the other billion-dollar, most money made ever kind of movie, James Cameron told MTV he thinks 3D ACTV technology is good to go for Avatar and he wants it out there.
So don't feel bad if you're on the fence about going 3D this year. You got company.
Hey, Death, Broken Hearts, your favorite band taking a little time off to regroup. There are bigger disappointments than getting home with a new video game and finding you've spent $60 on a DVD jam-packed full of gaming suck. I can't help you with Death. I can't help you with taxes, and my dating history is a nightmare. But our sponsor, Gamefly, the largest online video game rental service, they can help you avoid buying a crappy game. We're talking about having thousands of titles on tap, new and classic. It's just all consoles, all handhelds at your fingertips for $15.95 a month. You get to rent 1 to 4 games at a time to keep them for as long as you like, and you want to take 75 hours to finish the game, no problem, because Gamefly has no late fees, no due dates, and the shipping is always free. You're done with the game, you throw it in the mailbox, in the wrapper, you send it back, Gamefly is going to send you the next available game on your list. If you really like a game, you can buy it from Gamefly.com at a discount. They'll send you the manuals and all the stuff that came in the box. Now, we have a deal for you. HC Nation fans, you're an HC Nation fan, right? You can score a 2-week free trial, but only if you sign up at Gamefly.com/HDNation. Some restrictions do apply. See the site for details, but please keep HC Nation coming by trying out our sponsors like Gamefly.com.
My one frustration with streaming the Olympics on my new Atom-Ion-powered home theater PC has been the ridiculous CPU consumption. Now, in theory, Microsoft's Silverlight technology that powers the Olympics website should take advantage of the GPU acceleration built into the NVIDIA's Ion graphics chip. But in reality, my video playback on Silverlight has been sucking up my clock cycles, resulting in a pretty, well, frame-stuttering mess. I asked you guys how it was impacting your systems, and, well, you were seeing the Olympics were hammering on your video processors, too.
Well, actually, it's just your desktop processors.
Yeah, that's true.
If it was hammering on the GPU, it wouldn't be a problem, because then your CPU would be clear.
A good point.
Yeah.
But I also got a nice bit of inside info from Randy, who wrote in to tell us how Silverlight almost takes advantage of GPU acceleration. He says, now by default, acceleration is disabled, and to enable it in the source code of the website, it needs to be edited. Not even Microsoft's smooth streaming site demo that we showed off last week has GPU acceleration enabled. So yeah, you won't be able to watch the Olympics in glorious 3 megabit per second stream with an Atom processor, at least not yet. And I do want to thank Randy for sending that info in, and I'm glad it's just not me.
Yeah, I mean, although it would be nice if it was just you. And there was like some switch you could click in the BIOS or something.
Considering how long that Silverlight 3 has been out, at least with GPU acceleration hooks in there, I'm really surprised that they're not taking advantage of that now.
We need to find somebody at Microsoft to tell us more about why people aren't enabling that code.
because that would solve my problem. Granted, the Atom is a relatively weak processor, but with GPU acceleration, it would solve my issue. Hopefully things will change in the future.
Randy, awesome info. Thanks so much for writing in. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, though, it is time for the new Blu-ray releases for the week of March 2nd, 2010. It's a great week for those of you with little ones running around the house like me. First up, Ponyo. That's right, Disney. Always a little scary, except this is Disney plus Miyazaki. We're talking about an adorable film with the voice talents of Kate Blanchett, Liam Neeson, Tina Fey, and many more. And since I said voice talents, you know I'm talking about animation. And of course, since it's Disney, you'll get the DVD version in the box as well. The special features, as I like to call them, or Weechers, should be worth taking a look at. It comes with the world of Ghibli, which is what they call an interactive experience behind the studio featurette, which has some nice behind-the-scene documentaries, including interviews with Miyazaki himself. I can't wait to see that one. Next up, Where the Wild Things Are, based on the classic children's book by Maurice Sendak. Spike Jonze, well, he got mixed reviews. Some people loved it, some people despised it, but our producer Serafina put it in her top 10 of 2009 list. The disc also includes a bunch of behind-the-scenes shorts, including one titled The Absurd Difficulty of Filming a Dog Running and Barking at the Same Time, as well as an adaptation of Sendak's Higgledy-Piggledy Pop, featuring the voices of Meryl Streep and Forrest Whitaker. I don't know if I'm going to let my son see the first one, but the Pop, definitely going on his list. Now, while we're talking about children's book adaptations, we have The Never-Ending Story. Oddly enough, it has been available for the past 3 years on Blu-ray as a region-free Dutch import for the big long dollar, but now you can finally get it cheap right here in the US. No doubt this one is time to piggyback on the marketing for Tim Burton's version of Alice in Wonderland, starring, yes, Johnny Depp. That one's going to be in theaters this Friday, but right now we're talking about the Sci-Fi Channel's 2-part, 4-hour miniseries, Alice. It's being released on Blu-ray this week. This is not the Alice you're used to, and it is not for the kids anymore. No, this modern-day revamping of the classic takes place 150 years after the story we all know and love, and features an Alice who happens to be a judo sensei and a Queen of Hearts played by, brace yourselves, Kathy Bates. Tim Curry and Harry Dean Stanton also star as the Dodo and the Caterpillar, respectively. I bet that was a stretch for Harry Dean. Also released this week is 2012, which is available both as a single disc version and as a 2-disc special edition. You'll also find 1981's Clash of the Titans on the shelf, starring Laurence Olivier as Zeus. And if you're a fan of Flight of the Conchords, keep an eye out for Gentlemen Broncos, which stars Jermaine Clement.
This week, my Netflix delivery included Inglourious Bastards on Blu-ray disc. I've only watched the first half of it, so don't tell me how it ends. That said, Netflix saved me time, money, and hassle by delivering that bit of bloody fantasy directly to my home. As a Netflix Unlimited member, you can get discs in the mail in about 1 business day. Plus, you can instantly watch thousands of TV episodes and movies streamed directly to your PC, Mac, or right to your television via a Netflix-ready device like the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and soon the Nintendo Wii console. I am partial to the devices that can deliver the Netflix HD streams, of course. And with Netflix, you can watch as many movies as you want. Shipping is free, and there are never any late fees and no due dates. Keep the movies for as long as you like. You can get unlimited movies 2 ways for only $9 a month, and for $2 more, you can select Blu-ray discs when available. Plus, as a new member and HD Nation viewer, you can get a 2-week free trial membership. Go to www.netflix.com/HDNation and sign up now. Be sure to use this URL so that they'll know we sent you.
Now, about 6 months ago, some Panasonic plasma TV owners started reporting that the brightness of the blacks, essentially their blacks, were getting more gray as the TV aged. This is not a good thing on an HD TV because the increase in the black level reduces the overall picture contrast and makes the picture look more washed out. This is not why you buy a fat new plasma HD TV from Panasonic. A few of you have been emailing and tweeting about this. Mr. Heron had a chance to talk to Panasonic.
Yeah, yesterday I happened to be attending a Panasonic event to get the latest info on their upcoming HD TV and Blu-ray products, and of course I inquired about the black level issue. That's basically that how black is black. When you look at black on a screen, that's, you know, it's called black level. Anyway, I talked to them about the issue.
You laugh, right? But one of the things when Blu-ray disc reviewers are talking about discs, they always talk about the black levels. It's obvious when you're looking at an HD TV if the black levels aren't black, the movies don't look as good. You lose some of the range there. Black levels are serious business.
That's picture contrast.
Don't mock this, man.
Directly related to how black is black. People spend
You taught me about this.
exorbitant amounts of money to get really dark blacks. But anyway,
Bro.
There have been some back and forth commentary on the CNET website regarding this very issue, and with their discussion with Panasonic, some interesting things have come to light. And of course, I had to put the question right to them. I asked if the gradually increasing black levels were an inherent characteristic of the panel technology, and Panasonic indicated that it was. And Panasonic's response to the CNET articles indicated that its 2010 plasmas will feature a more gradual automatic adjustment process.
Automatic. So they're automatically adjusting the blacks up?
They're driving the pixel voltage for each pixel. They're basically increasing the voltage over time at set intervals in order to maintain, well, they're claiming that it actually ensures that all pixels continue to operate at the appropriate, that they continue to function, period.
Really?
Now, I think this has a lot to do with when you first get that plasma, the phosphor material that actually glows is very, very sensitive.
So plasma is like a CRT. There's basically
Exactly.
energy being blown out of the back of the plasma through a screen onto the phosphorated pixels on the front.
Energize that phosphor material. And I imagine when it's new, it's a lot easier. It takes less electricity to make that pixel light up. However, as it ages, you basically want to bump that voltage up slightly to ensure that you don't get a stuck pixel or something like that. That's some educated guessing on my part about what's going on in that case. Now, this apparently applies to all plasmas. Now, I haven't had
not just Panasonic, not just Panasonic, but it applies.
I've had
to
no
all
other
brands.
manufacturer confirm that. I will say that offline, but the nod is that yes, this probably is what is occurring. It's just as plasmas age, they will bump up that voltage just to ensure that nothing gets stuck.
So how noticeable is this? Because if it's happening on all plasmas, why is Panasonic the only one getting called for
I
it?
will also say that's probably, to say it happens with all plasmas is taking it too far. Now, the reports that we've seen on forums online and from individual users, it is affecting some people. And Panasonic made statements to say that, yes, we do incorporate circuitry that will adjust the voltage accordingly over the we're talking hundreds of hours, maybe even thousands of hours. Panasonic made some indication that it would be about 3 years before everything stabilizes of normal use.
Really?
So it could be over a period of years. You shouldn't notice it from one day to the next. However, some people have woken up and said, you know what, I really noticed that when I sit in a dark room and I look at a black screen, it's a lot brighter than it used to be.
Huh.
Yeah.
So people are basically saying they see the difference. I mean, we're talking about...
They're measuring the difference too, and we'll talk about that in a second.
We'll talk about luminance measurement. 'Cause
Exactly.
This is crazy stuff.
Just a quick word, when you're measuring black, it takes a very expensive instrument to measure something that's very dark. Measuring something that's pretty bright, you can do with a rather inexpensive instrument. Say like a $250 tool will let you measure a bright light pretty accurately. However, when you want to measure something that's just borderline, I mean, it's barely visible, you can spend easily. A tool I used to use that I'm pretty familiar with cost about $13,000 and would get me down to pretty sensitive black levels, to the point where in a dark room you would have a hard time seeing if that display was even on, if it was displaying a black screen.
That was, when you're talking about pretty low, you're talking about 1/100th of a candela per meter of
Totally,
of
if
display.
you want to look up what that is. And it's nice. When you see a
It's
TV,
exciting stuff, the
like
whole candelas per meter thing.
0.01 candelas or nits. Candelas per meter squared, or nit, if you want to call it that. Anyway, I don't want to get too jargony, but
Nit.
if you sit in a very dark room and your eyes are totally adjusted, you might be able to see how dark that is.
Right.
Now, to get a tool that will go even darker than that in terms of measuring accurately a black level, say like another 0 added onto that, where you want to take it down to say 0.003, for instance, you'll have to spend upwards of twice that much, about $30,000. And those are the tools that I find in the manufacturer's side in their arsenal, as well as some of the test companies I've worked with as well.
So I've owned my Panasonic Plasma for 6 months.
Yeah.
I think it's. I mean, how normally how many nits / how many candelas per meter squared are actually visible by the human eye? What kind of differences can you really resolve?
It would depend on everything from the room lighting conditions.
Right.
Like in a bright room, it's harder to see differences in very dark levels in a brightly lit environment.
But let's say if I walk into a room, I close my eyes, I turn off the lights, I turn on the plasma, I count to like 50, so my eyes have adjusted to
like
the
a half
darkness.
an hour goes by. You've dark adjusted your eyes. You're not dealing with any particularly bright light sources, so your eyes don't unadjust. You will end up. You can see the difference between 0.01 candela and say 0.04.
So the people who claim they're seeing these differences may not be, lying. They're just in the right conditions. And they have particularly good.
But just
eyesight.
when you see numbers, I just want to say the whole thing I brought up about candelas and whatnot and tools and measurement devices is that when you go online, just be aware that you don't know the environment that people are taking these measurements in. But there seems to be enough of this evidence being presented that there's probably a grain of truth to it all.
So, you've always, generally speaking, when you're talking about buying a new HDTV, you are pro LCD flat panel. You found the best results from Sony and Samsung's. I haven't heard you talk too much about Panasonic plasmas.
They are the masters of the universe as far as plasma. They're the largest manufacturer, and they have some of the best technologies out there.
Then I probably have heard you talk about Panasonic plasmas, and apparently I'm taking too much cold medicine
Well,
this
we
week.
also talked about the 85-inch giganto.
Oh, well, yeah, we obviously have. So, I mean, would this be a reason not to buy a Panasonic plasma? Because I think if most people, if they're watching in a room with some light and they're watching, movies or sports or something, they're not really. Are they going to?
I would say if there's pretty much any light in the room whatsoever, a normally lit room, you probably won't be able to see the difference.
See, I want to know what the plasma looks like in 3 years after this.
Exactly. See,
You're going
that's
to be
the
able
problem.
to read by it?
Most people who receive, like when I receive these products for testing, it's like you're looking at it for that specific time you have it. You're not able to look at it over years or hundreds or thousands of hours. And I know for a fact that some of these high-end test companies that I work with, they're actually getting the panels in and doing their own independent review. But it doesn't seem to be. It seems to be an inherent characteristic of the device. I wouldn't worry too much about it. And Panasonic is making a change for their 2010 products to make that transition between each step a little more gradual.
That would be nice. Let's thank one of our sponsors, GoDaddy.com. I've been using them for years to buy domains, but they also make it easy to customize your own virtual dedicated server if you're into that kind of thing. They got 3 popular plans, or you can select your own Linux and Windows server with all the plan options that you need. You want to score a discount on pretty much anything at GoDaddy, whether you're talking about new domains or hosting or whatever it is, check out the code HDN12. That'll score you $10 off of any order of $40 or more. And if that doesn't sound like a good deal to you, you should check out revision3.com/GoDaddy. That's where you're going to find all the HD Nation GoDaddy deals and codes. And you're going to find a deal, I hope, that is perfectly wonderful for you. And you'll use it, and then we'll keep bringing the show to you because GoDaddy knows that we're bringing the word out for them. Do us a favor, get your piece of the internet at GoDaddy.com. It's where I buy my domains. Carlos writes in, awesome show. Thank you, Carlos. On your last show, Robert showed that he backed up his Blu-ray movies and DVDs onto separate hard drives on his network so he could stream them to his new home theater PC. What program did you use to do that? I want to buy that program. I have a bunch of DVDs and some Blu-rays I would like to back up and play on my home theater PC. Please help. Thank you, Carlos. Well, mymovies.dk, right? That
was the tool I used to add to Windows Media Center that gave me that interface to navigate my content. That didn't actually do any of the ripping or encoding or anything as far as getting the content off the disk and into my storage server. What I used for that was just a terrific product from any Slysoft, any DVD HD. Terrific program. Not exactly cheap. You can get a 2-year license, I think, for about $80. Right. Or you can buy a lifetime license if you dig around in their menu system a little bit.
Some of us bought the lifetime license before they had a lifetime license. Look, we mentioned this. I have a toddler who likes to fling DVDs and use them as ice skates, which is why I back up my DVDs and Blu-rays now. Do yourself a favor. Do us a favor. Don't pirate content. If you don't own the disc, don't burn it. Don't back it up. I also got to say, are you going to try? So any DVD, what did you use on top of any DVD? Because any DVD deals with the encryption.
Yeah, they actually offer a free virtual drive. So to take that image file I create, the .iso file, and I want to put that into a virtual disk drive, they actually have a virtual CD drive tool that's free. You can just download and create all the virtual drives you want.
So it's just a cut and paste operation?
It's literally, you just double click on once it's associated with ISO files, the virtual drive, you can just double click on it and it mounts it automatically. You hit the eject button on your remote, it'll treat it as ejecting the ISO file off that virtual drive. For all intents and purposes, it functions just like an actual physical disk and a physical drive.
That's pretty cool.
It is very cool. I do happen to know for at least until early March, they are having a 20% off sale at Slysoft as well. So I think I'm going to actually, I've been working with the trial version for the software, which is good for like 3 weeks. I think it's time to throw down the money and get the full version, especially at 20% off.
You've been using it. Hey, a bunch of people actually emailed in media browser of media browser TV, or I guess it's media browser from mediabrowser.tv. A bunch of people emailed in like, I can't believe you chose that DK stuff. Why don't you try this?
My movies were mediabrowser.tv. I will check it out.
Yeah, well, I like what Marcus says. I'm disappointed you recommended my movies when media browser is far prettier if configured properly. Marcus is disappointed, dude.
Heartbreaking. We'll get to you, Marcus. I promise. All right, Apple Boy, I'm throwing this one at you. Carl D2 writes, hey guys, I'm a huge fan, but as an Apple product owner, I have to say that you two do a poor job of giving Mac computers any props for how they handle HD content.
Oh, really?
Yes, I know that Macs don't support Blu-ray disc, at least not yet. But I use my 24-inch iMac to watch HD content from iTunes, and with Windows on Boot Camp, I can watch HD movies and play PC games. It looks and works great. Can you guys show some Apple love? And can you do a review of Elgato's iTV? It's PVR software for OS X that's gotten really good reviews on Amazon and Apple.com. I plan to buy this product in a month. Thanks, Carl D2.
Okay. I love the effort you're getting in there to bring Blu-ray onto your machine. But you got to remember, to play Blu-ray, you've got to have Boot Camp, that's free with OS X, a copy of Windows, which you're paying for, and then the Blu-ray software on top of that. So it gets a little expensive.
It works?
It works.
Okay.
Or at least I'm told it works. I haven't
Okay.
actually tried it out myself.
That's a
but
workaround.
I am told it works. But basically, Boot Camp, we'll check. I will try to check before next week. iTunes HD though, I'm sorry, dude. Do I use it? Yes, but we're talking about over-compressed suck. It's not bad, but on a 1080p television, it starts to fall apart. I gotta say though, yeah, the Apple TV, Mac Mini, other Macs are great for playing back HD content. I just wish iTunes had some better looking stuff. Elgato's iTV, go for it. It is the best tool out there for Mac owners that want to turn their OS X boxes into PVRs to record TV. It is without peer. And while I own a couple of home theater PCs, 2 or 4 Windows notebooks, and an absolutely sick Core i7 Windows 7 box with 12 gigabytes of RAM, I am the resident Apple boy on this show with 2 MacBooks, 2 iPhones, an Apple TV, and a bunch of old SCSI gear from the early 90s that for some reason I can't seem to throw out.
I might want to borrow one of those. Do you have an iPod Touch? That could be used as a remote in a home theater environment. Or should
I mentioned that, and you mocked me.
I did, but I just didn't have one in hand.
I mentioned
I didn't know
the
anybody
iPad.
had one.
I thought the iPad might work. We will find you an iPod Touch.
Somebody else recommended the iPad to me too. And
You know, my iPhone does that. It's great. So when my son
I need a
pitches the
$500
Apple TV,
remote.
that's okay. We'll find you an iTouch.
Anyway,
You know,
good
there's
deal.
an Apple store in town. There may even be one near you, out in the boonies, 6 miles away. Hey, if you're looking for that must-have application for your iPhone, your Android, or your BlackBerry-powered phone, you need to check out App Judgment. That's Revision 3's mobile phone application review show. And in case you missed it, App Judgment is now on 5 days a week. Monday through Friday, every day, the App Judgment crew brings you reviews on the hottest apps, and along with a little bit of news and previews of applications that are coming down the pike. If you like your cell phone, you should not miss App Judgment. You can find it at revision3.com/appjudgment. That seems reasonable.
Very cool.
App Judgment. Revision3.com/appjudgment. App Judgment. App Judgment. I like that.
I probably already talked about that darn remote control app too. I'll get to it.
There's like 92 of them now.
I know.
130,000 applications on the iPhone. 9,000 of them are remote controls.
Hippo
I
remote.
kid.
Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode of HD Nation. As always, we want to know what you think, so send your comments, questions, or suggestions to hdnation@revision3.com.
You can also follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/HDNation, or hang out with the other viewers in the HD Nation forums at revision3.com/forum. And of course, we got links to the stuff we talk about right there in the show notes, which are up with the shows, which are on revision3.com/HDNation.
You'll also find all the links to subscribe to the show, so if you're not getting the latest episode of HD Nation delivered to your podcatcher or TiVo, what are you waiting for?
That's right, subscribe and watch. We don't care if it's a Roku box, your home theater PC, your iPhone, it's all good. Until next time.
Hey, thanks for watching. I'm Robert Heron.
And I'm Patrick Norton. We'll see you next week on HD Nation.